Hello and welcome back. It is still Hello Nigeria. Thanks to Benga and Olive, who told us what is happening in Nigeria and is trending at the moment. Right now, what is trending is the woman who is going to be speaking to us as the phenomenal woman that she is. Her name, I will leave till the end, but I would like to give her an introduction so that you get to know this phenomenal woman who is our Woman Wednesday. Ladies and gentlemen, our guest is a young professional and social entrepreneur. She's the founder of Fair Life Africa Foundation, a charity that supports underprivileged children. She goes by the pen name UFUOMA. I just gave it out, but I'll tell you, UFUOMA EE. She loves to write and tell stories on her blog, and she has released or published her first physical book, The Church Girl. She's married to UFUOMA Ashogbon, a creative artist and businessman, and they have a son called Jason. They both live in Lagos. Ladies and gentlemen, our Woman Wednesday, Wonder Woman Wednesday for today, UFUOMA Ashogbon. Hi, UFUOMA.
Thank you
Hi.
for coming.
Thanks for having me.
Great to have you on the show.
I don't feel like a Wonder Woman.
I was very interested in your profile, more importantly because you're a writer. I think that's something three of us on this set share in common.
Okay.
So before we talk about your writing, just give us a brief background into your growing up. What was growing up for you like? Who was UFUOMA as a baby?
Wow. Well, I'm not ready for that. Growing up for me was, I don't know how to say it, normal, I guess. Well, nobody is normal. There's no normal. It was not too dramatic. It was okay.
All right. Now, usually they say for a writer has to have a very imaginative mind.
Yes.
And that sometimes you write based on experience, you
Okay.
know. So tell us the journey to even starting off your blog, because your blog is what has birthed your book. So tell us, how did you start? Why did you
Okay.
decide to start blogging?
All right. My blog is a Christian blog. So I talk about God and lots of things, marriage, relationships. So I actually did have a bit of a past. I have a bit of a past, not childhood, but while I was a youth, I joined a group, a Christian sect actually, that impacted my life quite significantly. I wrote about that on my blog. And while I was with them, I went through a few things, a few experiences I wish I hadn't. When I came out of that, I decided I wanted to study social work. And that took me into what I'm doing with Fair Life Africa. But through all that, I've always had a passion for God and wanting to go deeper. Because that was why I joined the sect to begin with. So when I came home, I just heard about this new thing called blogging, that people are doing. And, I'd also lost a close friend who I used to talk to about stuff like this. We didn't used to connect anymore, so blogging was my outlet. So I decided to start the things I used to talk to her about and gist. I just started to start gisting about it on my blog. And it was very therapeutic, because all the things, actually, I don't know if there's really room to go into everything, but my blog is like an iron to me. I'm quite very open on my blog. I don't think really have enough time to go into so much detail, but I will say that I was previously married and I got married in that group. And it was a very major thing for me. That and leaving the group and getting back into society. Yeah, those are some major things, but the book doesn't really connect that.
How does it make you feel when you're writing about personal experiences? Don't you feel some sort of vulnerability? Don't you get scared that you're sharing such personal details for the world to see?
You're scared before you do it, and after you do it, you're like, yes! I'm free, it's out there now, so no one else can, say it first or say that they found it in a gossip or something. You already revealed it, it's nothing to be afraid of. So before you reveal it, it's like trying to jump off a plane and then you're going to start skydiving. Before, that's the fear. Once you do it, it's liberating.
All right. Now, I love the fact that Olive asked you that, because there are many people who are perhaps women like you who have things they'd like to share. And they've bottled in so much and they're almost exploding. But you have found an outlet. For other people, it might not be blogging, it might be something else.
Yes.
But the fact that you feel, look at you, you're glowing. You feel so much freedom from what you do. So what were so you've written a book,
Yes.
The Church Girl.
Yes.
We had a giveaway last week. Now, what were the challenges you had with writing a book in Nigeria and then getting someone to publish it? Because there are budding writers out there, some people with a lot of gifts but are not able to express themselves, and you just might be inspiring one of them. So what were some of the challenges you faced writing your book?
Well, first, I think there's a lack of awareness of how to publish a book, or, you know, you kind of think it's a big thing that you need to go with a traditional publisher, you know, and you don't really know that there's a, you can self-publish these days, and it's actually very normal and popular. Yes, you know.
So what's the difference between self-publishing and publishing with traditional publishing presses?
Well, with traditional, they do all the legwork in terms of you know, editing and design and marketing, especially, and you know, printing, publishing, all that. They do all that. You write, and they pay you to write, and they don't actually give you a sizable amount of the money. They keep most of it because of all the work they do. Self-publishing, you basically get other people, you hire people to do different parts of the job, and you're in control of all the funds and all who does what, your design, everything. But you're also responsible for marketing and promoting and making sure that you pick the right people to do a good job. Problem was, I didn't pick the right person to publish my book for me, and on 2 occasions I was duped. I wrote about that on my blog, actually. Author beware.
That's actually wonderful.
And it was a learning experience. You know, at first I thought it was going to be so hard. I had to go the traditional route, and then I met someone who told me it was going to be so easy, and I took a chance on that. It's not really easy or hard. You need to be wise. You need to do your homework before you get started. You need to be ready to work. The work doesn't end when you write. That's where it begins.
Okay, so now let's talk about your book, The Church Girl.
Yes.
What is your book about? Is it fiction? Is it a blend of fiction and some reality? Is it about you?
Nope.
So you're not the church girl?
I am not the church girl. Okay. I wish for some parts of her life that I was, but for the beginning, definitely not. You know, she had a horrible beginning, you know. So it's definitely fictional. I get asked that a lot, you know, but the book, I think maybe the reason I get asked that a lot, because I poured myself into the book. Anyone who's been reading my blog and read the stuff I write about, they can see a lot of my messages, you know, covered in the book. You know, so they'll think, is this about you? I'm like, no, it's not about me. So almost all the characters, maybe even all of them, but I don't want to think all of them, but almost all the characters carry some of the things I've been through, some of the things I've thought about, some of my frustrations, you know. So they're not all in Mary. Definitely not all in Mary, and I'm not like Mary. Mary is too peaceful. I'm not as peaceful as Mary.
Is she peaceful?
I think she is. She only got like mad like once in the book.
All right, now let's even, before we go, you know, ask more questions about the book, I want to look at the fact that you're a mother, your wife, and then you have a project that you're doing, and you're juggling a number of things because you didn't stop your social entrepreneur outreach to do this book. You did everything and combined everything at once. And let's not forget, we cannot ignore it because it's obvious that you're a young woman. So how did you manage
Thank you for saying that, because I realized I'm no longer a youth.
Well, how did you manage to combine everything without dropping a ball? One of the things that they say women are wonderful multitaskers, but some women have found that it's actually not easy to multitask.
Yes, and when you're dealing with procrastination as well, you just feel, you know, I'll do it later.
It takes discipline to, and how long did it take you to write the book? Because I think I was surprised when you told me how long it took you to write it.
I actually wrote the book originally as a story series on my blog.
Okay.
You know, so I didn't plan on writing a book. It wasn't my intention, and so it came easily through me. The first 7 chapters, I wrote them in 7 days. And
I wanted Olive to hear that, because Olive is a writer, and I'm hoping that she'll, you know, do so. And for other writers out there, because it's honestly, you might not pat yourself on the back for how much discipline you have, but it is, and I think the training from blogging helped you.
That's it. I post often, you know, and that, I don't know. I post a lot on my blog, so that for me was just a small thing, writing that.
She posts a lot on her blog. I definitely have to reiterate that. She posts a lot.
But honestly, you might not understand, just how much of an effort it is until you meet someone who is so indisciplined when it comes to that.
Yeah, I guess the discipline is already ingrained in me. It didn't feel hard writing the book. It felt very natural. Even editing the book, I enjoyed the whole process.
So you edited it yourself? Wow.
Shouldn't
I
boast
usually
about that.
would think that people would want, the errors in the book.
Yes, I did. I did run it by a pastor friend of mine who gave me some good critiques on it. To make sure that it was it had a good spiritual bedrock.
Okay.
Yes.
Wonderful. Now, what would you say? Why would people want to read this, or what has been the feedback from people that have read this book?
Wow, there's been a lot of feedback, and I can tell you non-negative, and I thank God for that. A lot of people told me that the book's blessed their lives. A lot of people told me that they made decisions just by reading the book, and that there are things that they were going through really spoke to them. The book actually deals with a vast array of things. Like the original version of the story series on the blog, just 7 chapters. I got so much feedback from that because it dealt with spiritual abuse, child sexual abuse.
Yeah. Yes, that was and that's something that has become more and more, prevalent. Maybe because people are reporting it now.
Yeah. So it dealt with those things, and for people it was really like inspiring and encouraging. And then in this book too deals with marriage and infidelity and forgiveness and growing
I was interested in
God.
book 2 because I was getting married soon and I wanted to see the real issue. So it was interesting for me to read that, and it was really interesting for me.
So the church girl has book 1, book 2. Are we expecting a book 3?
No. It's a complete saga as it is, but it did spin off into something else called A Small World. So A Small World is a bit like Friends. Friends how their lives are interconnected. So Church Girl is the first story I wrote. I've also written Broken, which is about a woman who was also abused as a child, but she became promiscuous. Not like the Church Girl, and then I wrote An Emotional Affair. So those are my 3 main books I wrote. Now, A Small World is basically a continuation of their stories, how their lives are intertwined. So if you want to continue to know more about the church girl, Mary, you follow the Small World.
All right. So, all right, you have a book reading this Saturday.
Yes.
Yes. Well, what's happening? I mean, what's are there people? Because people say the art of reading is lost, particularly in Nigeria. Number one, is that true? And then, how many people do you understand? Like, what is it about? What's the idea for the book reading?
Well, for the book reading is really exposure for my book. Get people to know about it, get people to buy it, get people to fall in love with the story. It's going to be at the Hideout Lounge on Saturday from 5 o'clock. And anyone can come. Anyone who wants to know about the church girl, you can get autographed copies.
Okay, so for those who want to read about your blog, you've spoken so much about your blog. What's your blog ID? UFUOMA.blog. All right.
So that's UFUOMA.blog. So if you go there, you read all my stories and all my posts.
What if they have personal questions they want to ask you via social media? What are your handles?
At UFUOMAEE.
Okay.
I also receive emails at me@ufumaee.com.
All right. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me. Thank you. I've had fun.
All right. A lot has been said about this book. We can't wait to see it. We'll go on a quick break. When we return, Benga Borowa will be joining us. I'll be wrapping things up shortly.
To enjoy more of these our Ogbonge videos when you just watch, press this button to subscribe on top of our YouTube page. You go love am.